Hello everybody. So today is the day that we are finally behind the wheel of the refreshed 2025 Hyundai Tucson. Of course, we're going to be going over all the signature types of information, and let's go ahead and get started.
And as Drew said, we're going to be covering a lot of different things in this test drive, including getting our signature sound level reading. And if you don't recognize me, I'm Josh. I'm our third team member of the Car Confections team. We're splitting travel this week as Mason is honestly across the world on another trip as well. But let's go ahead and get into the hard acceleration of this refreshed Tucson hybrid.
So that was taking it up to 60 miles per hour. Now, of course, this is part 2 of the video. In part 1, we went through, all the nitty-gritty details about this Tucson in terms of the equipment, the features, the space, all the things that you're going to want to know. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in any of those things. But to go ahead and recap the powertrain choices, they are mostly unchanged for the 2025 refresh. You still have 3 different choices. You have the traditional ICE model, you have a hybrid, and a plug-in hybrid. What we're driving right now is the hybrid model, and even though it is a carryover powertrain, for the most part, there is a small tweak. We have a little bit of a more powerful electric motor on board, which is actually the same as what you get in the larger Santa Fe hybrid, and that's going to give it an additional 5 horsepower, bringing our total up to 231 horsepower from a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with your electric componentry. Now, as you just saw with the overall acceleration, it is quite good. It's not going to obviously blow you away, and we can go ahead and get a acceleration here from a stop here just to kind of demonstrate what it looks like on a flat surface in this good location here. Yeah, I mean, overall, while this is not a sports car, obviously, this is quite quick. This is really good power for the segment. And of course, when you're talking about a hybrid system, in addition to getting some instantaneous electric torque, having more overall horsepower, you're also looking at having better fuel economy as well, which is something we'll talk about in just a moment.
Yeah, and we've driven every single engine option of the Tucson multiple times, and if you're not a fan of the lower power output of the gas engine, this is a perfect middle ground to have that more power, but also not be paying an extra arm and leg for it. Now, as far as the specifics of those other 2 Tucson powertrains, you do have the base gas-only powertrain, which has 187 horsepower from a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. And then at the top of the lineup, you also have the plug-in hybrid, which has more additional electric componentry over this Tucson hybrid we're in today. And that will have a total power output of 286 horsepower, which is up 7 horsepower for this year as well, with the larger battery components.
Now, you might have noticed as I accelerated hard there, one of the other unique things about Hyundai's hybrid system, and that's the fact that it actually has a traditional transmission. Most of the rivals are going to be using a continuously variable transmission, but Hyundai opts to use a conventional 6-speed automatic. Now, in terms of this, obviously, if you're the type of person that prefers that more traditional experience, less drone and things like that, you are going to really like this 6-speed automatic. Overall operation feels nice and smooth. Also, just driving this 2025 version, everything seems to play a little bit better together. It feels like everything's kind of been honed in to be a little bit smoother overall. The 6-speed automatic is not going to be the fastest transmission out there, but like I said, I think the important thing is that it's nice and smooth overall, and you don't feel that handoff either between the engine and the electric power. It's very, very smooth. The 1.6 is also very quiet, so even when you hammer it down, you don't really notice a whole lot of noise or vibration harshness, things like that, coming into the cabin, which really is, I think, the main thing that people are going to be looking for.
And you will have a conventional automatic transmission across every powertrain in the lineup. Hybrids come with a 6-speed, and then the base gas motor will come with a traditional 8-speed automatic. And front-wheel drive is standard on your gas trims. All-wheel drive is optional on your gas trims, and then is standard on all of your hybrids.
Now, we're in California on a media drive for this. And we're on a pretty bumpy road, as you can probably tell. But this is a good time to go ahead and talk about ride quality, because this is really putting it to the test. So, in this class, obviously comfort is pretty much king. And even here on our limited trim level of the Tucson with the largest wheel option, ride quality remains very comfortable. Hyundai's done a great job of tuning this, just like most of the rivals, to really favor that comfortable overall experience. The seats themselves, those are also very comfortable and really add to that feeling of comfort as you go over these big holes. And the other thing I like is the balance as well with the driving dynamics. Obviously, comfort is before the driving dynamics, but Hyundai didn't make it sloppy or anything like that, just to maintain the comfort. As you can see, we do have reasonably controlled body, not much body roll as we go around the corners. The steering is also lightweight, but nice and responsive, so you get that immediate turn in as soon as you go off center. And of course, particularly on the hybrid models, fuel economy is super important. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that. So you get up to 38 miles per gallon. That's going to be on your blue trim, which is the base version of the hybrid. The other hybrids, which will be all the other trims, are going to be rated at 35 combined for 2025. That's actually down a little bit from the 2024 model year. I don't know if that's just a difference with testing procedures, things like that, or just correcting it to be a little bit more realistic, because the one we actually had at home did underperform a little bit versus the EPA rating. Nevertheless, that's coming in at 35 mpg combined, which is still going to be a substantial improvement over that traditional ICE model, and going to obviously be saving you at the pump over the time that you own it.
And speaking of that ICE model, you're going to be able to get 28 mpg combined with the front-wheel drive model, 26 mpg combined with the all-wheel drive model, and then if you spring for the top plug-in hybrid model, you're going to be able to get up to 32 miles of all-electric range, which is quite good for the segment. Alright, so we found a smooth road out here in California, so we're going to go ahead and grab a quick sound level reading. Alright, we dropped to 55.4 decibels in this Tucson Hybrid Limited. A very impressive rating, but I'm not very surprised. Hyundai Hybrids always seem to do very well on our channel, and I will go confirm that right now by going to carconfections.com/sound level readings.
As far as how that compares to the competition, that's certainly on the quieter end of the segment. That also roughly matches what we achieved with our 2024 test back in Kentucky. But I do want to remind you guys that we are on a media drive in California. This is a newerly paved road, so it is relatively smooth, but technically we're not on our typical stretches of road in Kentucky, so we will make sure to retest this when we get it back home. All right, let's talk about today's slam dunk and airball, which will be our favorite thing and least favorite thing about this 2025 Tucson.
I'll kick us off with the slam dunk. We're just really impressed with the 2025 updates in general, specifically on the interior. The new CCNC with the dual 12.3-inch displays, fantastic. Wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. And you also get a lot of increased storage. You have the storage shelf right here. Huge center pass-through area. So really big improvements for this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, on the airball side of things, we're going to have to say the hybrid fuel economy. So, especially with the correction downward a little bit for 2025, the delta between this and its biggest competition, which would be the RAV4 hybrid and the CRV hybrid, has grown more substantial. It's a pretty decent distance between the two of them at this point. Now, like I said, obviously this is much better than the traditional ICE model, so you still get a really big improvement. But, you know, if you're really talking about getting that maximum fuel economy, the rivals are doing this better.
Now, a quick reminder of your pricing for this Tucson hybrid. You're going to start around $33,000 for your base blue model, and then for a limited model that we're driving today, you'll be sitting around just under $41,000. And then if you want to go for the plug-in hybrid model, you're going to have much more of a price premium, starting at around $40,000 and going all the way up to $47,000 for the plug-in hybrid limited model.
And finally, as far as your warranty coverage, that is Hyundai's signature 5-year, 60,000-mile basic warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and you also continue to have 3 years of complimentary maintenance. But anyways, that is going to be the end of part 2 with our 2025 Hyundai Tucson coverage. If you found this video useful, make sure you go down below and subscribe. By subscribing, you tell automakers that you enjoy our content, you find it useful in your purchasing decisions, and that's what gets us invited to drive programs like this, so we can come out to California and check out the latest and greatest products to show to you guys on our channel. If you are already a fan and subscriber, we thank you for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.